3, Colbert converts again.
Outside to Cordell. Oh, on 20-footer. Good! Bounce past the Duffy's left hand.
You're watching CTV Sports!
What's up, y'all? And welcome to CTV Sports. I'm Brett Kennedy.
And I'm Olivia Landis. We've got some big news for you guys, so let's jump right into it. Renowned Colorado State football coach Sonny Lubick will see his legend live on as the name Sonny Lubick Field will continue at the new on-campus stadium when it opens for the 2017 season. CSU announced the news earlier this weekend when the university received its second anonymous $20 million gift. The donor committed the money over the next 30 years to transfer the name Sonny Lubick Field from Hughes Stadium to CSU's new multi-purpose on-campus stadium. Lubick, who was Colorado State's 15th head football coach from 1993 to 2007, led the Rams to 6 conference titles and 9 bowl games. He is also one of the winningest coaches in school history. This announcement marks the second $20 million gift in March, as well as the largest gifts in university history. After the ceremony announcing the new name of the field, Sonny Lubick was honored that his legacy will continue.
I said, geez, I don't know if I deserve that thing. First of all, I never thought it would because I just have, since reading all these new stadium, new things that donors kind of buy and do what they want to do with it. So I ran my course for enough time at CSU, if I use, but this will be quite an honor for the new stadium for me and our family.
The Colorado State track and field team hosted the Fun-McGraw Quadrangular this past Friday. CSU won the meet by winning all dual matchups with Colorado, Northern Colorado, and Wyoming. The Colorado State men's team totaled 280 points, and the women's team totaled 298. The biggest storyline of the day was sophomore Mustafa Hassan, who broke a 10-year school record in the shot put. Hassan threw 64 feet, 1.25 inches to win the competition in his first outdoor competition as a Ram. CSU swept the men's and women's high jump and pole vault, with Colin Shear winning the men's high jump at 6 feet 8 inches, while Mackenzie Wright won the women's with 5 feet 5.75 inches. Carly Reimel won the women's pole vault with a mark of 12 feet 6.25 inches, while Nick Myhouse won the men's with 15 feet even. Up next for the Rams will be the 2-day CSU Pueblo Invitational starting this Friday. The team will also be sending some athletes to the Stanford Invitational in Palo Alto, California that same day.
After losing 4 seniors to graduation, the Colorado State men's hoops team may have something, or better yet, someone to push next season forward with. Leon Gilmore, the third, most recently with Trinity Valley Community College, tweeted early yesterday morning about his visit to CSU, then later posted a picture on Twitter wearing an Aggies uniform. Coming in as a 6'7" forward, Gilmore saw offers from Houston, Texas Tech, Arkansas, Baylor, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Texas, and more schools coming out of high school. Despite the many offers, Gilmore decided to play for Creighton University, where he managed an average of 1.1 points and rebounds per game as a freshman reserve. From Creighton, he transferred to Trinity Valley Community College, playing in all 35 games while starting 32 of them last season. During his time at the college, Gilmore put out an average of 11.1 points per game on over 50% shooting with 7.2 rebounds.
Colorado State men's golf team just finished up the Goodwin Tournament this past weekend in Palo Alto, California. The Rams ended up in 18th place in a tournament that also featured 16 teams ranked in the NCAA Division I Top 100. Once again, Jimmy McCloskey was the top-ranked Ram, tying for 25th place at 3 over 213. The team has 2 weeks to prepare for its next event, the Ping Cougar Classic in Provo, Utah on April 11th and 12th.
The Colorado snowstorms that hit the state earlier last week not only affected the roads and school, but also affected the CSU softball team's schedule. Last Thursday, the Rams were scheduled to open conference play in a series against San Jose State, but instead this series was postponed to this Sunday and Monday. The snowstorm that hit Colorado Tuesday night forced many flight cancellations coming into Denver International Airport, including a flight the Spartans were scheduled on. Colorado isn't the only state seeing some unexpected snow, however. CSU's 3-game series against Utah State that was originally set for this week has been postponed to late April because of a significant snowstorm that hit Logan, Utah. If the snow is done screwing up the Rams' agenda, they will host Boise State at Rams Field this Friday, making for a busy weekend.
Adding to the bad weather cancellations this past weekend, the Colorado State women's tennis team canceled its past Saturday match against South Dakota State. No makeup date will be made. The next match for CSU will be on the road this Friday against New Mexico. Well, we'll be right back with some spring training football talk and to find out how much, or little, CSU students know about opening day that's on Sunday.
Tune in to KCSU, your student-run radio station at Colorado State University. Live 24 hours a day, every day at 90.5 FM and kcsufm.com. Live local new music now, and news, talk, and sports. KCSU, the radio voice of Colorado State, on the air since 1964.
You're watching CTV, produced by Colorado State University students, bringing you news, weather, sports, and entertainment from campus and beyond. CTV live Monday through Thursday at 7 p.m. on campus and Fort Collins on Channel 11. Repeats at midnight, 8 a.m., noon, and 2 p.m.
The Rocky Mountain Collegian is your student-run news and information platform. Pick up your paper on campus or around Fort Collins Monday through Thursday with special editions Fridays. And check out collegian.com anytime for all the latest updates. News, sports, entertainment, opinion, and more. The Rocky Mountain Collegian, serving Colorado State since 1891.
College Avenue has been your student magazine for the last 10 years. College Avenue prints once a month covering topics that are relevant to the CSU and Fort Collins community. We also print special editions like the graduation guides at the end of each semester, the best of CSU each fall, and the orientation guide each summer. Look for us on racks around campus, off campus, or online at collegian.com under the College Avenue tab.
Welcome back from the break. I'm now joined by the Rocky Mountain Collegian sports editor and football reporter, Emmett McCarthy. Thanks for being on the show, man.
Glad to be here. Let's talk some spring football.
Let's do it. Now, the spring season started. The big question is the quarterback competition. Coleman Key is gone, so that's good for Nick Stevens, but it's also bad for Nick Stevens because he still has competition this year. Fatan Bauta is in town. What do you have to say about that?
I don't know if we'll really get an idea of the starting quarterback from spring practices. I think that'll still be open going into fall camp. I would expect in the spring game for Nick Stevens and Fatan to both get a pretty equal amount of reps in that. Nick Stevens didn't exactly blow people away last year, but he did respond well to the pressure just from a maturity standpoint, and I think the players like him. And he's been in Bobo's offense, knows the system. Fatan Bauta, you hear the name Georgia, you hear they transferred from Georgia and you get excited, but he didn't exactly light the world on fire in his one start there, completed less than 50% of his passes, 4 interceptions against Florida. I think that'll be a pretty even race going into the fall, and I think the difference between a backup in the SEC and a starter in the Mountain West might be a bit overstated.
Fatan Bauta, new kid on the block. Here's what he had to say about what he brings to the table.
That's a good question. The only thing I would say is the only talent I have is I could absolutely outwork everybody, and I have no problem saying that. And that's the only talent I have, and that's the only thing I can do, and I can out-prepare everybody. Nobody's going to tell me different. So that's the only thing I can bring, and hopefully I can bring some guys along with me. That's my job as a quarterback. I take that to heart, and that's what I try to do every day when I wake up.
Now moving on, let's switch over to running back. Jason Oden Jr. is gone, but there's some key guys that are still there. What do you have to say about the running back position moving forward?
Well, like you said, you lose a real workhorse in Jason Oden Jr. Izzy Matthews really looked like a stud last year, and Dalen Dawkins, maybe not an every down back, but definitely a talented guy. The issue there is probably more depth. In addition to Oden, Deron Thompson is also leaving the program, so they're going to rely real heavily on 3 freshmen. Marvin Kinsey and Darius May are more of speedsters. Rashad Body is more of a bigger back, but it'll be up to those guys to kind of carry some of the workload if either Izzy Matthews or Dalen Dawkins gets banged up. That's a difficult position, and wouldn't be surprised to see some injuries there, so they're going to need to make sure they have depth and look for maybe some of these other guys to step up in spring with those guys not yet on campus.
It's always nice to have depth, especially in a position that gets so much of a workload. Speaking of depth, let's move on to the receiver position. Now, Rashard Higgins, one of the school's most explosive players, if not the most explosive player, is gone to the NFL draft. Joe Hansley is also leaving. How is the team going to manage handling the loss of those 2 receivers who played a lot?
Well, yeah, like you said, simply put, you don't replace those 2 guys, not just Rashard Higgins, but what Joe Hansley gave you as well. Those guys were not just reliable targets, but they finished plays off. They got into the end zone, did things after the catch, and that's probably what CSU is lacking the most right now at the receiver position is guys who've shown they can do that. Deontay Gaines can do some things, but he's more of a slot guy. He's not going to be as versatile as those two were. Sammy Long and Olivia Johnson, seems like Bobo both likes those guys, but they haven't really shown a whole lot there yet. Xavier Williams, just from an athleticism and talent standpoint, is probably the closest thing that we'll have to Rashard Higgins, but he hasn't shown the ability to do things on a consistent basis. So that'll be an interesting position. The X factor there might be Dietrich Clark, junior college signee who supposedly runs his 40 in less than 4.3 seconds. We'll see if he can maybe mix things up and be a playmaker in the open field there.
And adding on to that, Jordan Vaden also switched over to defense, so he won't be a receiver for this team anymore. Now, switching over to defense, Tyson Summers is now a coach at Georgia State, or Georgia Southern, excuse me, and he moved on. How is the defense going to respond to that, especially, and also losing all of the seniors, especially in the secondary, Trent Matthews, Kevin Pierre-Louis also gone. How's the defense going to react?
From a coordinator standpoint, I don't think you'll see much of a drop-off. I mean, the scheme will be a bit different. They're going to go back to a 3-4. They played in the 4-3 last year. They're going to go back to the 3-4 from the years under Jim McElwain. Marty English, who's the new defensive coordinator, was co-defensive coordinator for a year under McElwain. He was the linebackers coach last year, plays a big part in recruiting. Players are familiar with him. I don't think he'll have any issues. But what you said about the personnel, I think that's where they're really going to struggle. They lose their entire starting defensive line, the best pass rushing linebacker in Corey James, their best cornerback in DeAndre Elliott, both starting safeties like you mentioned, and, as well as another safety who played a lot in Nick Januska. So if there's a drop, I would expect the defense to maybe take a step back this year, but probably more due to personnel rather than the coordinator.
It's going to be a rough transition this year. Well, man, that's it. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Well, that's all we have. Back to you, Liv.
Thank you to both Brett and Emmett for the football update. Well, opening day for the MLB is this weekend. Sunday marks the first regular season games being played, and the Rockies season opener is on Monday against the Diamondbacks. With the big day approaching, Brett and CTV Sports producer Travis Green thought they should see if CSU students even know that baseball is right around the corner.
I'm Travis Green.
And I'm Brett Kennedy.
We're outside the Lowry Student Center going to test the knowledge of CSU students, see how much they know about Major League Baseball. Opening day is on Sunday, April 3rd.
And on April 4th, the Colorado Rockies have their opening day.
We're going to see how much CSU students actually know and if they even know opening day is coming up. My bet is they probably don't know.
They probably won't, but let's find out.
All right, I'm here with Roger. Roger, we go way back.
Way back.
Like,
when was it?
Elementary school.
Was it? Maybe middle school.
Something like that.
Yeah,
way back in the day.
Ago.
All right, we're asking, as I told you, a bunch of people when opening day is. Do you know when opening day is for Major League Baseball?
Absolutely not. No, I do not.
So that means you don't know when opening day is for the Rockies.
Nope. September?
So when is MLB opening day?
I'm gonna have to. I think my answer is probably April Fool's. So this Friday, but it's maybe Saturday.
Keep going.
April 4th.
There you go. But that's for the Rockies, right? So
that's for most teams.
There's
some that are playing April 3rd, like the night. But
got it. He's got it.
Oh, starts very soon.
I would say very soon.
April 1st.
April 4th. No, May 4th.
That is actually April 4th is actually the Rockies opening day.
Oh, yes,
what is the regular opening day for the major leagues?
So the Rockies opening day is April 4th. I would guess that it would probably be like April 8th or 11th, like within a week.
April 3rd. Close enough. Speaking of Rockies opening day, who do the Rockies play?
The hitters.
You know, it's funny because he's a Padres fan and they play the Padres.
Of course they do.
It's April 1st?
Ooh, you're close.
4th?
That's for the Rockies.
I don't know.
Okay, it's April 3rd for some teams, but 4th is for the Rockies.
Okay, so I'm a Sox fan, so.
Ooh, I don't know.
Take a guess. It's soon.
Very soon.
1 month from today.
Well, geez, I just know my team's the 4th of April. Is it all the same?
4th, she's got it. That's the same day for the Rockies too. But opening day technically is the 3rd.
April 2nd.
Oh, close.
Yes.
Go one more day.
April 3rd.
There you go.
I don't know any of the players for the Rockies anymore. Since they traded Tulowitzki, it's like...
Roger. We got somebody, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's CTV Sports. Be sure to check out all of our sports coverage on Collegian.com. On behalf of Brett and I, we'll see you guys next week.